Hello, my name is Stephanie Dawn. I'm the chair of the Million Mom Movement. I'm a mom of two teenage boys, and I'm so excited to be launching this brand new series today called the MMM Lunch and Learn, where we're going to be taking deep dives into issues that women, mothers, fathers, and families and children are facing. We're going to be doing it monthly. I'd also like to just tell you a little bit about what the Million Mom Movement is. We are a movement of many. We are mothers, we are fathers, we are concerned caregivers, we are aunties, uncles, grandparents who are deeply concerned about how our food, the food that we feed our families every single day, is being corrupted by chemicals, by pesticides, by herbicides that are really, really toxic. So we at the Million Mom Movement are interested in educating about that. And we do that weekly, every Friday, at an event called Fierce Friday. So if you'd like to learn more about that, reach out to the person that invited you to be here today to learn more about that event that we do every Friday called Fierce Friday. I'd like to take a moment and welcome the founder of the Million Mom Movement, Amy Venner, to come on and just say a few words for us. I'm so glad that you were able to join us here today, Amy. Are you there?
I am. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you so much, Stephanie, and the rest of the council for coming up with this incredible idea to really, put an educational series together because, these subjects oftentimes, are not always openly discussed. They're not always easy to talk about. And oftentimes there are so many more women, families, members of the community going through these things than you would ever know. Because as one of our, leaders in the Purium organization says, people just don't wear signs. And I love that the Million Mom movement, that Purium is about uncovering issues and talking about like what we can do from a health and a nutrition standpoint to support our bodies and to support wellness and well-being. And the subject matter today is of utmost importance, and I'm so happy that we're drilling into that. We're talking about how whole foods and nutrition can support our new moms and the emotions and the emotional states that they're going through, that we are going through. And hormones are no joke. And it can really cause a lot of happiness, but it can really cause a lot of pain and discomfort that can affect all areas of our life. And so I'm super excited about this educational series. We are going to take these Zoom events, turn them into blog posts so they can be evergreen, and we can pay it forward to others who may not be part of our organization right now. So again, I want to thank everyone for being here. I want to thank you, Stephanie Dawn, for spearheading this and leading it. And I want to thank all the guests that are going to share today, because it is it's vulnerable. When we share a painful experience and we put it out there, we become vulnerable. It's also a way that we can heal from those painful experiences in this kind of really safe container and space, and putting it out there with the love and compassion to help someone else. Like, it takes a lot of courage. So I want to say thank you to all the guest speakers today. Thank you for the Million Mom Movement Council and you, Stephanie, for putting this together. And I'm just really proud and excited for this educational series to kick off today and to keep going on a monthly basis on really relevant topics that can change and impact a lot of lives.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for being here, Amy. We're grateful to you. Yes. So today we are talking about postpartum depletion, depression, and psychosis. And for me as a mom, I'm a mom of two teenage boys. I was aware of postpartum depletion and depression, but I wasn't aware of psychosis. And I really believe that we have a postpartum epidemic in our country right now. And when I say our country, I'm just going to stick with North America. So the United States and Canada. And I have some statistics that I'd like to share with you to sort of put it in perspective, this discussion that we're going to have today. So I met with a woman who's been in my circles for a long, long time. I have a background in the birth world. Her name is Zoe Weston, and she runs an organization called the Postpartum Care Foundation.org. postpartumcarefoundation.org. And Zoe, if you're here, because I did invite her to be here today, go ahead and put that in the chat. So in this presentation that Zoe shared with me the other day, 70% of women experience the baby blues in the United States. Zoe's statistics are connected to the United States. 35% experience postpartum depression disorder. It's like an actual disorder. And that doesn't go away. So this was deeply alarming to me as I listened to these statistics. And I realized in hearing the stories of the women that you're about to hear today, that I wanted to elevate this discussion. I wanted us to be talking about how we could be helping women, because a solution does exist, and it's not rocket science. It's very, very basic. It's our nutrition. It's what we're putting into our mouths every single day. And when you're a mom, it's really common to be more concerned about the food that you're putting into your children's mouths than your own mouth. And yet, when we suffer as women, the whole family suffers. So I want to just, create a disclaimer here that I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, I'm not a medical practitioner of any kind, and we do not make any claims to heal or cure, okay? We do have stories that may help you. And so we're going to be sharing some stories today. We'll also be sharing the solution that helped these women. And then if you're inspired and you'd like to help more women connect with what it is that we have here, then we're going to be talking about that briefly at the end. We will have time for questions and answers. We will be here for approximately 1 hour. And yes, there will be a recording. So without further ado, I want to introduce the woman who really inspired this series, to be honest. Yes, it's true, Hannah Bujea. In Maui, you're the one that inspired this. So without further ado, I really want to bring you on to share your story. Thank you for your bravery and for your heart and your willingness to share with us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Firstly, thank you, Dave and Amy, for their vision and their passion, and the Million Mum movement, especially Stephanie Dawn, for cracking this discussion group wide open. I'm so incredibly grateful. And it's, as Amy was saying, sharing our stories is definitely helping me. And in sharing my story, I know I'm helping other mums. And yes, there was talk of the baby blues, but when I was pregnant only 4.5 years ago, I did not know of postpartum psychosis. So I was 3.5 years postpartum, and I was on the verge of leaving my family. My husband is a first responder, and he was terribly worried about leaving me at home. He'd go away for shifts and he knew and my daughter being born, I felt like I was in an undiagnosed hell. I'm a 70s baby. By definitely non-organic formula. I grew up on a farm in country Victoria, 50 acres, and I have a very clear memory of my dad bottle on his back, and he was spraying all the weeds. Our farm was basically weed-free, and I used to paint my horse stables with a very thick black paint called tar and terps, which I methods.
Hannah, we're losing you a little bit, Hannah.
Issues, Emily, from a TIC. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Can you hear me
you're
now?
Yeah, your internet is going in and out. Is anyone else experiencing that?
I have full bars.
Okay, keep going, Hannah, keep going.
Okay. From a teenager, I seeked had digestive issues, and so I ceased acupuncture for relief. I felt like I was just keeping my head above water. Can you hear me, Steph?
It's still going in and out. I'm not quite sure what's going on. And your story is so important, Hannah. I don't know. If you're on your phone, maybe shut down some apps. I don't know.
Is that better?
If you keep talking, it might help.
Yes. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, maybe turn off the video. Someone's saying that's a great idea. It might just be using up too much of the bandwidth. Now she's frozen. Oh boy. Hannah, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I can hear you.
Go for it, Hannah. Go for it. We hear. Yeah. Go for it, Hannah. Go for it.
You can hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Yes, I can keep talking.
Yes, please keep talking.
Okay. So from a teenager on, I seek natural remedies, acupuncture and herbs, and this was a temporary relief. It felt like I was just keeping my head above water, though. And for years, I thought there must be a missing link, a missing ingredient. Just didn't know what it was. I was constantly adjusting my diet. I'd take out sugar, I'd take out dairy, I'd take out meat, but nothing seemed to help. I got pregnant at 40. I had a miscarriage, my first baby. My second pregnancy, I was geared into taking Western medicine for very severe morning sickness. After a 26-hour labor with a mislodged epidural that got yanked out of my spine, and then they had to implant a second epidural. After that wore off, I could not believe the pain I was in. When they took the catheter out and asked me to stand up, I thought they were absolutely joking. The pain was horrific. My body blew up. I felt like I was wearing one of those sumo wrestler costumes. I could barely walk. My legs were like tree trunks. I was unrecognizable to myself. Breastfeeding felt like a razor, blades going down every nerve of my body, and I just couldn't stop crying. During my pregnancy, I put forth 2 supportive networks, a postpartum Ayurvedic doula and a family member and nurse. I had those fell through a week later after Hale being born due to unforeseen circumstances. I felt abandoned, went quiet and into mental anguish. A week later, a blanket of darkness fell upon me, and for years I suffered with debilitating anxiety. Times I couldn't drive or leave my home, leave my bed or leave my closet. I started having extremely vivid and petrifying reoccurring thoughts of harming myself and my baby. I had a constant non-visible trembling, felt like I was on the verge of having a seizure, a stroke, or a heart attack. I was confused, disoriented, completely out of reality. I couldn't tell the time to feed my baby. I had to set an alarm. I had a bloated, every few months I'd have a bloated stomach. I looked like I was about 8 months pregnant. I couldn't touch it. My only relief came from lying down in a bed with a hot water bottle. I had severe back pain. I was irritated, brain fog, anger, and I had serious vertigo that sent me to the hospital for many blood panels and an MRI, all undiagnosed. 8 months after Hale was born, I found some relief in a naturopath doctor here on Maui. Through herbs, high protein meat diet, and hypnosis, I hovered at what I would call an 80% recovery. And I hovered at that for till 3.5 years, until last September. My sister got me on a phone call with an old friend, Rachel Ballanzat. I heard her transformation, symptom-free from Hashimoto's and exhaustion. My dying internal flame became ignited with hope. October, I started the ultimate lifestyle transformation. I was cleansing my gut of the Roundup, rebalancing my gut biome, and I could actually absorb the most pure organic superfoods. Day 16 of this transformation, I had a massive detox, and from day 17 on, the majority of my ailments were gone. My husband was in complete belief that something this easy and affordable was working for me. I went off the products, all my symptoms came back. I immediately went back on the products. We joked that I would actually choose these products over my husband. I had seen 3 different physical therapists over 20 sessions, and I was headed to Oahu for another MRI. This was inexpensive, and having a child and a husband, it was just hard for me to fly over to Oahu. I spoke to Rachel and she said, hold out for another month. You've had a very, very traumatic epidural experience and surgery. It just might take a little bit of time. One morning in February, I woke up literally pain-free. I could move over in my sleep in bed. I can now carry my horse feet around. I can help with the chores in Costco. And I can feel like I can be completely intimately comfortable with my husband. For now 7 months, I am symptom-free of postpartum anxiety, depression, and psychosis. I am not back to my old self. I'm a very newly revised edition. I'm 46 years old in the best health in my life. I am forever grateful to Dave and Amy, Stephanie, Malia, Rachel, Jilly, Donna, and Amy Cassidy. Thank you very much for hearing my story.
Oh, Hannah, thank you so much for sharing it. My goodness, I'm so glad that you got help and are continuing to get help, and we all love you very much, Hannah.
Thank you so much, Stephanie.
I'd like to bring on another mama. There's my timer. I'd like to bring on another mama, trying to stay on time here. Her name is Estelle Meyer, and I've known for many years now, and she has a profound story of transformation as well, different from Hannah's. Each story you're going to hear is very different because each woman is very different, right? We're all so unique and individual. Estelle, are you there?
I am. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I feel every time that I'm out here sharing my story, I feel somehow empowered by it, that hopefully my story and the stories of these other beautiful women, we can bring some awareness to what's happening with our mamas.
Yes.
And I experienced it myself. I didn't realize how depleted I was until a friend gave me a reality check. You know, I was postpartum a year, and I had really dark thoughts, like they didn't feel like they were really from me. So I felt like I had to throw that out there, and I felt safe with my best friend. It's like, I can tell her these is the things that I'm thinking of. What do you think of these? What do you make of these thoughts? And she listened to me, and then very concerned took me by the hands and said, Estelle, you need to get those thoughts under control. You need to go see your naturopath. You need to go see a chiropractor, and you need to get back on your nutrition. And she knew I already had a marvelous transformation with superfoods before, but I found myself pregnant and I didn't feel good. So I was pushing things away. And my friend bringing this back to my awareness was, thank you for listening to my thoughts, and telling me that those are not real and valid. And she said, if you're not going to get this under control, you are going to push the people that love you the most, you're going to push them away. And it was really hard for me to hear, but it was true, because in my mind, I was making up stories of things that wasn't serving me at all. I felt really low on myself postpartum, like, you know, your body is different. I'm an older mom, and I just really felt out of it. But my naturopath revealed to me that I was completely depleted. She's like, you have next to no calcium, you have next to no potassium. That is why you're feeling anxious. Your body is not in alignment. And so I'm so glad I went. She had me on a really rigorous calcium protocol, and then I started taking my superfoods again, and I do finally feel like my normal self again. I feel like finally all the things are falling into place, and I can step back now and say my gut probably was hurt or damaged somehow during the pregnancy, because I've had so much heartburn and so many digestive issues, and getting that back in check got my brain back in check, and I don't have those thoughts anymore. It was, and I shared about it yesterday, but it was really dark, and it really didn't serve me and or my family in any way. And I realized, my friend said, you need to make yourself a priority. You go take care of yourself, because what you're doing now is not working. And so I'm very grateful for that experience, and I'm feeling better and more inspired than ever to share this amazing protocol with moms. And there's no need for us to feel so out of sorts. There's help. There's help.
Beautiful, Estelle. Thank you so much. I love seeing your beautiful, radiant face. Yeah.
I'm like always crying.
I know. Your tears are welcome here. Your tears are sacred, and they're completely understandable. Let's face it, motherhood on its own is not easy, okay? Motherhood without the nutrition that we need, without support. As I was talking to Zoe the other day, she's like, postpartum is a healing time. And yet in our culture, we are not showing up to support our moms the way that we need to be. And so that's why I wanted to elevate this conversation, because we can do better by our moms here in the United States and in Canada. We can be doing so much better. And so thank you, Estelle. God bless you. And I'm really glad that you were with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. Okay, now we're going to go. So Estelle was in Washington. Hannah was in Maui. Now we're going to go all the way to Indiana to Bethany Granoff. Are you there, Bethany?
Hi, I am here.
Hi, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Thank you for the previous stories. Really touched my heart. Yeah, in between, I'm 39, in between my first and second child, I started to develop hypothyroidism and Hashimoto's, which at the time I didn't know that it's actually very common to develop thyroid illness and disease, during childbearing years. And after my second daughter, 4 months postpartum, my numbers had all been going up for the Hashimoto's, and they were continuing to rise, and I had hypothyroidism as well. But at 4 months postpartum, I also had an emergency appendectomy, and that really shook me. And I ended up in the hospital and with surgery, and was still just recovering from my birth, and which was actually a really amazing birth, and it was a very healing birth, because my first one was so traumatic. I nearly died during my first childbirth. So, sorry, I'm getting a little emotional. So, at that point, 4 months postpartum, I knew I needed to change something in my life. And I was tired, I was exhausted. I had fatigue, I couldn't see out of my own eyes. It was, I have 20/20 vision, but I was so withdrawn. And it was really a hard time. And I didn't want to be around my kids. I didn't want to play with them. I mean, I would just nurse my baby and just sit there and just not really do anything. So my sister actually introduced me to somebody who shared these superfoods with me. And, I had rashes on my forearms. I had psoriasis on my head. My anxiety was through the roof, and I could barely go pick up my son from preschool. I would pick him up, take him home. I didn't talk to the mothers. And I even had, once I started feeling better and was more social, because I'm actually a very social person, one of the mothers was like, I just didn't know if you were mean or like, what was going on once I shared my story with her. But, I found these superfoods, and within 1 month, I was like amazed, because I went from really seeing in black and white to color. It was like I could see, like I was already feeling like I was in my body again, and starting to feel a little bit more like myself. And by the 3rd month, I was able to balance out my T3 hormones, and that was huge. And I was getting my blood work every 3 months, because my doctors wanted to make sure, of course, that what I was going to try was working, because they really wanted me to go on medication, which I was, 30, I guess, gosh, I don't even know how old. I was like 33 at the time. So, I'd never been on medication. I wanted to try a different route. And then 6 months into the superfoods protocol, my Hashimoto's numbers started to go down. And over the course of 18 months, not only did my autoimmune disease go into full remission, but I completely, regained my life back. I mean, I was hula hooping with my children, playing with them. Now I'm homeschooling them, and I live a very active lifestyle. I'm, like cycling and doing yoga, and very, very much a part of my family's life. And, it would not have been possible if I didn't get nourished with these superfoods, because I thought I was doing everything right. I was eating mostly organic. At the time I lived in New York, we had amazing farms. It was all local, and I was making everything from scratch at home for the most part, and it wasn't enough. So I'm just so beyond grateful, because it's completely transformed my health, and it's now transforming, my secondary source of residual income, because I'm sharing this with every single mother that I know and family that I know. And it's the biggest blessing in my life. So thank you so much for having me share. Sorry, I got so emotional there, but that was a crazy time, and I'm glad I'm past it. And, I think every time you tell your story, it just allows you to let go of that trauma a little bit more and a little bit more, because it's such a deep process. The grief is a spiral. And so thanks for having me today.
Oh, I'm so glad you were able to come, and I just really honor your path, and I honor your tears, and bless you for sharing, and continuing to share, and just make this more available to more moms. Like I said, nutrition is really basic, right? It's what we need to be doing for ourselves every single day. We need to put the oxygen mask on our own face first, right? So thank you so much, Bethany. All right, onwards to Canada. Ms. Jilly Dixon, are you with us?
I am here. Hi.
Hey, hi, welcome.
Thank you. I'm trying to keep myself together because this is all so emotional. I'm just like fighting back tears, and it's so important though. And like you said, the tears and the telling your story is really healing. And I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for Hannah, who spoke first. And I'm eternally grateful for her being brave enough to speak up, because that day that I was lying on my couch feeling like I was sucker punched, didn't even feel like I was in my own body, was telling people how terrible I felt, was so brain fog, so depleted. And she shared her story, and here I am. And, I became a mom 7 years ago today. It's my oldest son's birthday today. And And then I also have a 2-year-old daughter. She just turned 2 last week. And I really struggled with postpartum with my second. I felt so out of body with her, and I had a very different pregnancy with her. I had placenta previa. It was a really stressful pregnancy. When they finally got me in for my scheduled C-section, it was so different than my first son or my son. There was 18 people in the operating room. They were ready for everything to go sideways, basically. It was really scary. I walked in and I'm like, whoa, they put an arterial line in me. Like, they were expecting me to bleed out. It was terrifying. And so my whole experience with my second was different. I had been pumped with so many drugs post C-section and even going into the cesarean, and it really wreaked havoc with me. And I spent 3 days trying to go to the bathroom, and I paced my halls for 5 hours one day in so much pain. And long story short, I basically ripped myself open when I finally got to go to the bathroom. And I have been struggling with fissure since. I didn't even know I'd go into this story right away, but I think so many women need to know this. And I spent 16 months basically bleeding almost every day. My kids knew that when I go to the bathroom that I needed to concentrate, and I've been to specialists, I've been to doctors. They all had this Band-Aid remedy for me. They said, take more Restorelax, and I'm thinking, Restorelax, like, isn't that just a Band-Aid? Like, is that going to do anything? And so I'm dealing with that. I'm starting, you've got the COVID mom, nobody around to help, and you're alone. And I noticed that my whole demeanor changed. I became a different person. I'm really social, like Bethany was saying, and then all of a sudden I'm just becoming this really inward person and not reaching out to friends and scaring myself with some of the thoughts that I had. And Hannah told her story this one day. I'm just about to go on antidepressants. I've just been talking to my doctor. I'm like, there's no way out. Like, I gotta get this under control. And Hannah, I reached out right. I'm like, what are you doing? And I'm not somebody who's an unhealthy person. I'm not somebody new to the whole food is medicine sort of thing. But when I started, and I will say that it was very hard for me to spend the money on myself. It took me 5 days to commit. I thought, I cannot spend this money on myself. I need to spend it on my family. This is like selfish. But in the end, it was the full investment for the family. Within a week, my 100-pound anxiety living on my chest started to lift. I felt like I could breathe for the first time. My thoughts became clear. My mental clarity became clearer. I wasn't yelling at my kids. Even my son said, wow, Mom, you don't really yell at me anymore. I'm like, oh. And, I went in for the anxiety and depression, but I didn't even think about my digestion. And what shifted so much is I have not bled more than once in 5 months. So my digestion is back on track. My mental state is back on track. I feel like I'm back. I feel like I'm vital again. I feel like I'm more present for my kids. And I really am on a mission to help other moms feel better. Because even if you're a healthy person, even if you're not, there's something missing. And to take care of yourself and to feel proper food and nutrition go in your body, and also with such focus on your gut, it certainly has a direct relationship for me anyways with my mental health. So thank you so much for allowing the space for me and everybody to share today.
Yeah, thank you, Jilly. Profound. Oh my goodness. So what is everyone doing that's helping them come back to themselves, right? This is where we're going to go now. All right. What did these women do? And before I go there, I just want you to know that why do I care so much? Because I've been on these protocols for the past 5 years. I've lost 50 pounds. I was 10 years postpartum, and I was, a hot mess. and I, turned my life around. I didn't suffer from postpartum depression, but I did suffer from being just 50 pounds overweight and not feeling like I was in my body, the way that I am now. And so I truly believe in what it is that we have here, and I want to just share a little bit about it, not a lot. Really what I want you to do is get with the woman and or man that invited you to be here today, and really help them to craft and curate what it is that might be best for you. But essentially what we have is something that we call the daily core 4. And this is what is just so foundational to day-to-day living, right? That I wasn't tuned into, and that helped me get on track. And so the daily core 4 consists of 4 products, and I'm going to outline what those products are. All right. The first one is Biomedic. Biomedic is a product that removes glyphosate out of the body. And I'm going to be talking a lot more about this in 1 month's time when we have our fertility lunch and learn in June. But essentially, I believe that a lot of the problems that we're having is because we have so many toxins inside of our body, and glyphosate is the number one. It's used widely throughout the United States and Canada on all conventional food. And so we got to get that out of the body. Okay. We got to get the toxins out of the body. And so Biomedic does that, and it's been proven to do that in a clinical trial, and whoever invited you to this can give you that clinical trial if you want to read the information. The second product is called Super Aminos, and that's pure vegan protein. I call them Mommy's Magic Pills because they helped me release a 25-year daily morning coffee habit, you guys. I drank coffee through both my pregnancies. I was that person. Okay. I was so stuck on my coffee, and I started taking the aminos, and I stopped the coffee. I just didn't need that false caffeine high anymore in the morning to like wake up. Right. So that's the Super Aminos, floods the body with energy in 23 minutes. That's why it's called Super Aminos 23. Excellent for building muscle, and also great for burning fat. The third product is the Power Shake. And I'm drinking one right now, right here in my little container, my stainless steel container. The Power Shake is our most popular shake. It is basically all your veggies and your superfoods in one shake. Okay. So if you don't eat veggies throughout the rest of the day, you're good. It's all your vitamins, your minerals, it's all here. Okay. So, and it's delicious. Comes in appleberry flavor, or just the original flavor, which has no flavor at all. I like to blend the two together, to be honest with you, because I've eliminated sugar out of my diet. And so I'm really sensitive to things that are sweet. So I really love the Power Shake, and you can mix it up with water. I do half water, half coconut milk, and it's delicious. And then the fourth product in the Daily Core 4 is a tart cherry syrup called Apothecary. It's anti-aging, anti-inflammatory, anti-stress, helps to eliminate free radicals while you sleep, has naturally occurring melatonin in it, and is highly anti-cancer and delicious, I might add. It's just tart cherries. Okay. So that's the Daily Core 4. But that's not all you do when you do these 30-day programs and protocols that these ladies have done and have been life-changing and transformational for them. You're eating food. You're eating whole food, and you're eating a lot of fruit, a lot of vegetables. There is animal protein on this diet. There's a little bit of there's like eggs and not a lot of dairy though, cow dairy. We invite you to enjoy other types of dairy, more plant-based dairy. So it's doable. This is why it worked for me. And I think this is why it worked for all the ladies that have been sharing today, is that this is doable. And I'm not going to say it's easy, because changing our diets is not easy, right? And incorporating new things into our diets, it does take time. It's an evolution. But it's an evolution that you'll be receiving support should you decide that this is for you. Okay. And transformation is so much better when it's done in community. And that's what we have here. We have a gorgeous community within the Million Mom movement that spans, as you can see, across the United States and into Canada. So we're here to support your transformation. We're here to support your health in really reclaiming yourself, regaining your energy, eliminating brain fog, supporting your libido. We didn't even go into that today, ladies, but I know that it's been helping a lot of women get their mojo back, get their sexy back, which is really important postpartum, right? A lot of marriages struggle a lot because we lose that hormonally, right? Amy said at the top, she was like, dealing with hormone difficulties is real and it happens to many of us. So, it sounds like it's almost too easy, right? I've heard that before. Can it really be as simple as nutrition? Well, this isn't all these ladies did. They've been doing a lot of other things, right? And if you want to get with them and talk to them more about what they did, I encourage that. But it's foundational. What we're putting into our bodies nutritionally every single day is what really matters. That was the missing link for me. I was that gal that would go into Whole Foods and get my green drink and then think I'd be good for the next 5 to 7 weeks. No, I needed to be nourishing myself every single day to be, for me to come back online with myself. So that's what these products helped me to do, is to learn how to really love myself and nourish myself with food and superfoods. So I hope that you have found value in what it is that we've been sharing here today, nutritionally, as well as with the stories that we've been sharing. And if you're inspired to do what Hannah, Jilly, Estelle, and Bethany and myself are doing, and that is share, then I want to talk with you a little bit about what that looks like. Okay? So we are women, we are men, we are concerned citizens, just like I was saying at the top, who have made the decision that it's not enough that we've filled up our own cup. We want to help others to do that, right? And so how do we do that is we share. We have gift codes that you can, if you decide to do what Hannah or Julie or Estelle or Bethany did, you actually have the opportunity to get the business for free. So what does that mean when I say the business? It means that you receive gift codes that allow you to share these codes, and for your friends, your family, your sisters, your aunties, your nieces, etc., to enjoy these products at a discount. So you get $50 off with these codes, or 25% off if you purchase $250 or more, which you will be doing if you purchase the Ultimate Lifestyle Transformation. It's an investment over 30 days. I think it's about $11 a day, if I'm not wrong. And you're worth it. You are so worth it. You heard one of the moms say today that we must be prioritizing our wellness. And I could not agree more. This is what we're seeing. This is, the postpartum epidemic, as I stated at the top, is happening because our culture doesn't prioritize women and moms. So if our culture's not doing that, then we need to be the ones to do it for ourselves, right? We need to be the ones that put on that cape, that super mom cape. And I like to say, we can't be super moms without superfoods, you guys. All right? We can't do it without nourishing our bodies daily. And this is a really easy way to do that. All right? A daily protocol that has several different pathways: the simple pathway, the accelerated pathway, or the intermittent fasting pathway. All right. And so if you're interested in the business and you want to learn more, get with the person that invited you and they can share more with you about what that looks like. If you just would like products, I want to invite you to go to ishoppurium.com. Your friend has a code for you. And if you're interested in the business, I want to invite you to go to isharepurium.com. And again, get with the person that invited you, and we want you to join this movement. We want you to become a part of helping women transform their lives, transform their health, and yes, start a business from home and create wealth transformation. We are committed and dedicated to that as well. So I want to thank you for spending time with us all today. We're grateful for you being here and joining us and furthering this conversation, furthering this mission to help women to give themselves what they need. All right. Thank you so much for your time. Goodbye, everyone.